To me, Global Reach Out is inspiring.
It's connecting with God, reaching out to the world, and impacting life.
The stories that are shared is so personal and it deeply impacted me.
Global Reach Out to me is reach out to the truth.
Connecting hearts, connecting lives. You're listening to Global Reach Out.
Hello friends, a very warm welcome from Global Reach Out.
Hi everyone. This will be my last session with you, and so I'd like to end my part by speaking to you today on how leaders, or rather effective leaders, should handle opposition, and in doing so, some practical pointers of effective leadership from Nehemiah. All right, let's begin. One of the tests of leadership is how he or she handles opposition. That's right. And the opposition Nehemiah faced externally was ridicule, resistance, and rumor, deceit, and false reports, while internally he faced disputes about food, property, and taxes. You know, you can imagine Nehemiah echoing these pointers to all of us as leaders. First one, expect detractors. Don't give them the time of day. Trust God to protect you and your reputation. Keep your hands to the plow and don't look back. Rely on God. Respect the opposition. Reinforce their weak points. Reassure the people. Refuse to quit. And renew the people's strength continually. It is interesting to take note that Nehemiah was not opposed by other leaders of different faith. Rather, he was opposed by leaders of similar faith. That's an interesting observation, isn't it? The reason he was opposed was not that he did something wrong. Rather, ironically, he was opposed for doing the right thing or the good things. Hence, my friends, it would be wrong to assume that opposition from others means a leader is doing something wrong. To be opposed by other leaders for doing wrong is understandable, right? It is also possible that quite often others may oppose because the leader is doing the right thing. Therefore, it behooves all leaders to remember that in opposing others, we might be opposing the plan of God. Hence, discernment and wisdom are required. In doing God's work or in doing any good works, not all will support you. Let's face that, right? For instance, the nobles of Tekoa in the book of Nehemiah, if you read, you will see that they were lazy and they wouldn't help. They did not support the rebuilding project. Others include Shemaiah, Noadiah, and other nobles. They were working against Nehemiah. So when opposition increases, instead of praying, Lord, get me out of the situation, Nehemiah prayed, I love this, listen, strengthen my hands. Wow. He showed determination and responsibility to finish his task. And that's, my friends, that's the right spirit of an effective leader. The rebuilding project of the city walls was completed in just 8 weeks. or 52 days. In spite of all the opposition, obstacles, difficulties, internal, external crises. Nehemiah writes and records for us in his book. He says, so on October the 2nd, the wall was finished just 52 days after we had begun. There was a response from the surrounding nations after they built in just 52 days. And this is what he records for us. It says, when our enemies and the surrounding nations heard about it, that we just built, in 52 days, they were frightened and humiliated. They realized that this work had been done with the help of our God. In other words, there was a recognition that the completion of the walls was a great achievement. That there was a recognition that it was made possible with the help of God. Mission impossible made mission possible by God. Following the completion of the walls, there was a celebration and a dedication service. Ezra and Nehemiah organized 2 choirs marching and singing, led by the Levites, singers, leaders, and workers, and parading around the walls. The priests read from the law of Moses. Nehemiah included everyone in the celebration. So with that, my friends, let me share some concluding thoughts. Of all the books in the Bible, the book of Nehemiah has always been the choice when it comes to the issue of leadership. Remember, when he first heard the city walls were in ruins, he was sad and crushed. But then he decided to do something about it. Nehemiah was able to inspire and influence a group of people to rebuild the walls of Jerusalem. He challenged and motivated the people to rise up, repair, and rebuild the ruined walls. He raised the people from mediocrity, from a demoralized and discouraged people to a great people. When crisis erupted externally and internally, Nehemiah exercised courageous leadership qualities that saw them through the crisis, which eventually resulted in the completion of the rebuilding project in Jerusalem in just 52 days. The rebuilding project began with a man with a burden who persevered to the end. The walls rebuilt, the people reformed, though it did not last long. Now, as a leader, he had character, competence, and the charisma. He was, in other words, a luminous star that shines across the galaxy of the pages of history. From him, we know his work well, the walls and his writings. His memoirs have been immortalized. As a result, he has left behind a rich legacy. He ministered to his own generation and for generations to come, and even today. So, let me summarize for you some leadership lessons from Nehemiah in bullet forms. First is this: leadership is influence. It's all about influencing. Second, leadership involves empowering others, not making use of people, others, but empowering them to do the task and to realize their potential. Number 3, leadership must be in the hands of a few, but ministry in the hands of many. Number 4, most effective form of leadership is credibility, integrity. Number 5, great leaders are motivators and mobilizers and communicators of vision. Number 6, great leadership involves people and assisted by people. It's all about people, my friends. That's right, people. 7, leadership takes ownership. They take the responsibility. They don't blame others for their failures. They take ownership. Number 8, undergirding leadership is always prayer. It cannot be emphasized more. Prayer, that's right. Prayer, depending on the favor of God and asking Him the strength to carry out the task. Finally, number 9, leadership, that's right. Leadership can be taught. And here are also some pointers about leaders that last. Develop personal discipline. Put your confidence in God. Keep the value of material possessions in perspective. Recognize the danger of becoming a slave to pleasure. Seek and refresh God's vision for the lives of people. That is what will make a leader that will last. So, my friends, here are some of my reflection. Leadership is about leaving a legacy. So my question to all of us is this: what legacy are you leaving behind? What do you want people to remember about you? Listen to this carefully. How would you write, if you were given the chance, an autobiography of your own leadership, of your own life pilgrimage up to this point? What is God calling you to do? Is God calling you to rebuild walls of some broken lives? Are there broken walls in your life that needs to be repaired? You see, my friends, all of us will be remembered for something. The question is, for what? What will you be remembered for? Here is a quote. I quote, "What will others say about you when you are no longer around? We guarantee that what people will say about you will not be about what you achieved for yourself, but what you achieve for others. Not how big a campfire you built, but how well you kept others warm. How well you illuminated the night to make them feel safe. And how beautiful you left the campsite for those who would come after you to build the next fire." End quote. By Cousers and Posner. Friends, let's face this and let's be honest. Your time, my time is limited. So, here's my encouragement. Don't let it be wasted living someone else's life. Have the courage to follow your heart and intuition. You've got to find out what you love and what you are passionate about in life. Do what you believe is great work. Do something. Do something you love. Do something you are passionate about. And do it with all your heart. If you haven't found it, then hey, my friends, keep looking. Because if you keep looking and keep looking, you will find it. As Steve Jobs says, don't settle. That's right. Don't settle for anything less. So as I conclude, here is my prayer for all of you from the prayer of Saint Augustine of Hippo. And this is the prayer, and this is my prayer for you as well. To my God, a heart of flame. To my fellow beings, a heart of love. To myself, a heart of steel. That's right. Let me repeat that again. To my God, to God, may you be a heart of flame. To the fellow human beings around you, may you be a heart, or may you have a heart of love. And to yourself, to myself, to ourselves, let you, let me, let us be a heart of steel. May this become a reality for you and in your leadership, so that you can add value and make a difference in the lives of people around you. That's my blessing. That's my challenge to all of you. And thank you for listening. Continue to stay tuned for the rest of the sessions as my colleagues come and share with you in the following sessions. God bless you, and goodbye.
And that's this week's episode of the Effective Leadership Program, brought to you by Global Reach Out. Don't forget to join us next week for another episode. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.